Hey everyone, Axton here, and here's a look at the closed beta of The Crew. Now unfortunately I did get some really good footage, probably about an hour to 2 hours worth from beginning the campaign until you get to select your first of 4 vehicles. But unfortunately there was a recording error and the AVI file had corrupted. So, really apologise, but there is no way to reset it during the closed beta. You're going to have to wait for that when the official release comes out. So we'll just go through the options here. So, as you can see, we've got your standard rigmarole of options in the game settings, of languages and subtitles, etc. You've got your notification options as well. Audio options. You can toggle player voices on and off as well if you don't want to hear them. All different controls. Vibration settings, steering sensitivity, of course, music and Xbox 360 controller here. But you also have the ability to use a steering wheel. Change your steering sensitivity, dead zones, even clutch. Plenty of options to change in your key mapping as well. And of course your video settings. Now some of you may notice that the FPS limit is grayed out and cannot be changed. It's normally limited to 30 frames per second, but I've edited one of the config files and was able to set it to 60. I've had a few graphical glitches in some of the, I guess you could say, the videos, or in-engine videos, because of this, but it runs flawlessly at 60 frames as well. The video preset, I've gone with a custom and just turned everything all the way up, and I have never experienced any form of lag. And of course we're back to the game settings. So we're just going to continue on.
We have a budget for this operation, Alex, but it's limited. I've given you enough cash to buy and set up your first ride. Spend it wisely. After that, you'll have to fund upgrades yourself. They're all available to test drive, so take them for a spin if you're unsure.
So here we are at the showroom, and as you can see we have 4 cars to select. You can also take a look at your car collection as well, and of course your upgrades. So first up, there's the offering of the Chef Camaro. We've got the Nissan 370Z, the Ford Mustang GT, and the Dodge Challenger. So from a visual standpoint, a bit of a fan of the Challenger, so we'll just take this for a test drive and see how it handles.
Get a feel for that ride.
So the handling actually feels not too bad, a little bit slack. Braking's not too bad, but of course I need to use a little bit of handbrake assistance to get around these corners as well, as they're almost 90 degree corners. When coming out of a corner like that, you can really feel the understeer under acceleration, so the game itself feels like a mix between an arcade racer and almost a simulation, so, or as some might call it, simcade. So the car does feel a little bit weighty, as you would expect it to. Not near as weighty as the trucks in the game or the SUVs, much like the Ford Ranger. You do get to start the game driving the Ford Ranger, and that actually felt quite decent. It handled the way that it felt like it should. But unfortunately, due to a recording error, was unable to show any of that. The game itself is actually an MMO. So during the beta I haven't actually found any way of resetting any level of progress. So unfortunately it's saved up to where I was at. So I'm really enjoying the handling on the Challenger. You do need to brake early. The game itself does err a little on the simulation side, so you know you can't take a corner at 150 kilometers an hour or 95 miles an hour and turn and expect it to actually go where you want it to. There is actually a feel of each vehicle. Each vehicle does have its little quirks.
What do you think?
So, keeping in the spirit, we'll take the Camaro for a test drive. And this time around it's Bumblebee B Yellow. So the last few times that I've actually come through and test drove the cars, they've actually been different colours. So for those that didn't know that,
take the time you need to make the right choice.
You can get to this point in the game, and as I haven't progressed any further than this, I don't know whether you can actually change the paint colours on purchase, but every time I've reloaded to these points and checked it out, the cars have actually been a different colour. So the first time I checked out this area, the Camaro came in black. The second time it was white, and this time it is yellow. So the same with the Challenger. The Challenger, when I first drove that, it was white. The second time was red, and this time round it was black. I've had similar changes with the Ford Mustang. So I did miss what colour that actually is this time round. I believe it was white, but the first time was black and the second time was red. And the Nissan 370Z, when I first drove that, was white. The second time was a dark silver, and this time around looks like it's a blue. The Camaro feels a little bit better balanced. Doesn't tend to want to oversteer too much in the corners, but it does still have that little bit of doughiness that you would expect out of an American muscle. So you can also see from the camera angle and the way the camera swings too. You need to keep an eye on the car, as the camera is reasonably stationary. It does give you a false sense of the car oversteering, which can cause, as you're going into a corner and you do something along this line, that the car is definitely going to oversteer, but you need to be very careful not to overcorrect, otherwise the car itself's not really going to go where you want it to. You'll overcorrect and find yourself waving your way down the road. So, just for those of you out there that think the car itself is the problem, it's not, it's the camera.
What do you think?
And if you don't believe me, switch to in-car view for the cameras, or change the camera view and try it out for yourself. It's not the car that's not responding, it's just the trick of the camera. So this time around we'll take a white Mustang. Or is that more of a silver?
Feel for that ride.
Mustang's response feels a lot sharper and a bit more balanced. The acceleration feels quite a bit better too. Okay, there was just a minute freeze there. Not sure if that got picked up in the video. Not sure whether it was a bit of servo lag there, maybe. So the Mustang feels a little bit more direct in the handling, a bit snappier, more to my style. Does understeer, of course, when you come through corners like that, but I feel quite confident driving it. It's got a good level of acceleration, as I said before. I just feel like I can knock the brake, tap the handbrake and just get it to twitch itself quite nicely around the corners. So I've never played any form of favoritism with any particular car manufacturer. You know, normally there's quite a bit of love between the GM vehicles versus, of course, the Ford vehicles. From my standpoint, I've always been more of a Chrysler or Dodge man. I don't know why, I've just really been enamored with the engineering behind the hemispherical engine. And also when it comes to Japanese cars, never really been too much of a fan of the Z series from Nissan. The 350s and the 370s, there was just something about the shape that I didn't really like too much. In saying that though, I really do like the majority of the models from Nissan as well. The R34 and R35 Skylines, I really enjoyed the design of those. But from a personal standpoint, I'd have to favour the Mazda RX-7, as I do actually own an FD, and it's been a while since I've driven it, but it's a wonderful vehicle.
Are you happy with that ride?
And I've always been interested in the mechanics and engineering behind the rotary engine. So last but not least, we'll take Barge Ass out for a drive. Now I am expecting it to squeal quite a lot, being a straight 6 rather than a large muscle V8.
Once around the block should help you decide.
but I'm also expecting the steering to be a lot twitchier than the muscle cars too. So it feels very balanced. I just don't know, the sound of that straight six just, it's a little bit whiny and annoying. But it definitely feels like a good weight balance. The braking and throttle response is pretty sharp. Under handbrake as well, the back end gets out pretty quickly. Now that was attempted without any brake, that was just tapping the handbrake, so no surprise that I actually ran quite wide there. As I said earlier, the game's designed to be a bit syncadish, so you can't take corners at Mach 3 and expect to get around them comfortably. So a little bit of a dab on the brake and a tap of handbrake, and the back end just wants to swing out and get us around these corners. A little bit of counter steer, not too much. But for those of you as well that are having a few issues with the control scheme, or that you feel like the car itself isn't controlling as well as you would expect it to, whether it be with a controller or a steering wheel, you can adjust the dead zone and the sensitivity settings on the controller. I believe you can adjust it for keyboard as well as what I've shown for steering wheel controls as well.
What do you think?
So now it comes down to the choice. Which of these four would I prefer to take? Post your preference inside the comments section if you like. And I will see you guys next time.